And I'm going to call the meeting to order, meeting of the BZA. There are no changes to the agenda, so I would ask that note the presence of a quorum, please, Dane.
Mr. Bunkfest.
Present.
Dr. Keene.
Here?
Mr. Clarino.
Here.
Mr. Plummer. Mr. Bowler.
Here.
We have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Let's move on. Approval of minutes of our September 10th meeting. We did not have an October meeting. So I have a motion to approve the minutes of September 10th, 2024.
I'll make that motion.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Motion and a second. Let's go ahead and call the roll on approval. Oh, no, approval of minutes won't take that.
You just say,
Have a quorum, so I'll just ask, all in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye. Say aye.
aye.
They approve it unanimously. Approval of 2025 BZA meeting dates. I have a question on this.
Okay.
November meeting date is 11/11, and that's Veterans Day. And I may not have made the rounds of all my free meals by the time the meeting. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding on that. But it is a holiday, so I don't know what the past practice has been on that.
Well, in that case, it's, the city services building is still open on Veterans Day, as we were in the office on yesterday. So I would assume that that's one of the reasons is continuing
Okay.
with this, so. I will bring it up if something needs to get changed, but we can modify them later if we need to.
I do, for note of reference, City Council did also meet on Veterans Day yesterday evening.
Yeah, valid.
Common practice.
Oh, okay.
Meetings.
Okay. All right, with those comments, I will ask, if there's a motion to approve the 2025 BZA meeting schedule.
I will make a motion that we approve the 2025 meeting schedule.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We can also do this by a voice vote. All in favor of approving the 2025 BZA meeting dates, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No nays, that's approved, and then we'll move on to the rules and procedures, which may take longer than a regular meeting.
Yeah, there are no members of the public this evening, but I might as well go through the normal process. So for all petitions, tonight's meeting has the following structure. The department will summarize the petition and describe what action, if any, is necessary to be taken. Then the petitioner will be given up to 15 minutes to present to the board. The president will open a public hearing. Individuals will be given 3 minutes to speak. Those representing a group will be given 5 minutes to speak. Only one member of the group will be given 5 minutes to speak, and for efficiency purposes, we ask those representing a group to speak first, if someone decides to walk in the door, I suppose. The public hearing will be closed when all interested members of the audience have had a chance to be heard and all emails received during the meeting have been provided to board members. The petitioner will then have a chance to respond to comments. The board will follow with any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the petition. Please do not disrupt the proceedings in any way. If you need to have a private discussion, we ask that you please quietly exit the room. Please silence your devices at this time, and if you must answer them, then please quietly exit the room. Anyone that ends up attending in person and wishes to speak in regards to a petition should approach the bench here and fill out your name on the sign-in sheet over here. Anyone who is listening and has comments can shoot an email to planners@westfield.in.gov with the petition name or number included in the subject line, and then those comments will be forwarded to board members and the petitioner. During any comments, please state your name and address into the microphone for the record. We ask that you not repeat previously stated comments. Presentation will be timed and be advised when there is approximately 30 seconds remaining. And we'd like to remind everyone to please speak directly into the microphone so comments can be put onto the record. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have one item of business which requires a public hearing, so we will move into items of business 2411 VS-29 170 Jersey Street, Old Town Companies. Dane, you.
Yeah. Good evening, members of the board. For the record, Dane Crabtree with the Community Development Department. The item before you this evening, the only item, is a variance of development standard request for modifications to sign standards of the UDO for the Union Square project currently being built at 170 Jersey Street. As the staff report outlines, there are 4 requests included within this variance for signage. 1, to permit temporary banner signs in excess of 32 square feet until a certificate of occupancy for the building is issued, which will be located approximately where the pink ribbon is there. Permit projecting signs in excess of 16 square feet that project greater than 18 inches from the face of a building facade. permit an electronic wall sign, in this case specifically for parking details. And lastly, permit signage on top of awnings over tenant spaces, as seen similarly here. This item has been properly noticed and advertised, and the department has received no public comments. Curtis Saddison, on behalf of Old Town Companies, is present this evening. If there are questions, unless Curtis, you would like to make a presentation, you may just take questions if you'd like. And if you are going to make a presentation, just go ahead and push the button at the bottom, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing on the banner variance. So there are, I believe, 4 locations where we have the chimney stacks, and we were requesting that for our use for temporary signage as the leasing is getting started, kind of prior to the construction being done. However, we have talked to a couple city personnel involved with the project, Janelle Fairman being the prominent one, where these will be installed in a manner which they can be taken down and put up very easily. And so there was the thought that these could be used for advertising from city events, park events, and things like that. So it wasn't, I guess, strictly to the certificate of occupancy, but more or less that there could be, we would not use them after that, but they could be used after the fact for that as well.
Yeah, I mean, however the board wants to modify or request a condition of approval for that particular standard, the issue from the department's perspective on just any type of blanket variance is it would deal with First Amendment issues with the actual content of the sign. If we were to say you can only allow city things but not other things, so however the board wishes to put a condition on that, if they even want to put a condition. If the board doesn't want to put any condition on that and just says it's not even a temporary banner, that would be fine too. Obviously, at that point, we can't regulate content in any manner for the banner if we allow it in perpetuity. But I think that's probably the only one of the 4 requests that the city has. I don't want to say issue because that's a strong word, but it's the one that causes the most debate on how to proceed with that type of variance. So
It's paradoxical though, right? Because it also is a request of the city to have the ability to use it.
right.
Okay.
I mean,
So
yeah.
So we could approve this and give conditions that the mayor and the parks director could use the banners to announce or promote citywide events?
That's a good question. That kind of makes me wish someone from the legal was here to answer that.
Made it 11 minutes.
I don't know. It's a content question. So could you make that condition? Yes. Is it a legal condition? I don't know.
Well, then we could do that, and if it's found not to be legal,
Sure.
then it's just canceled.
I'd be a little nervous about that because for exactly what you're saying, and also who would control the banners, the signs. You get in the political statements, and
Sure.
does Old Town charge for hanging the banners? I'm not real comfortable with
I
the
think,
legalities there.
if I may though, we often run into this with our body. It's not necessarily a question for us of what goes there or how it goes there. It's just so much, can it go there? As really the discretion of the BZA at this point. So I think, Larry, if you're comfortable approving it to allow that understanding that there still
okay.
needs to be checks and balances outside of this body probably makes the most sense.
Okay, I understand.
So let's move on, and again, this requires a public hearing, so I will open the public hearing at 7:12.
We have no current emails, and there's children in the audience.
He doesn't have anything to say. Little Chick-fil-A nugget.
Oh, man, wow.
This is not comparing to my wife by any means. Oh, sorry, I'm late as she walks into the Starbucks. Traffic was terrible.
Did you go to the 32 in Oak?
The wife leave you alone, man? She left you?
She's a nurse. She's,
Oh, the new one
those
up there.
14-hour shifts.
I'm familiar
yeah.
with that. I got a wife who's a nurse.
Yep.
too,
So some nights it works, some nights it's a
Yep.
little chaotic.
so. Yeah.
Do we have any emails? Seeing no input, I will close the public hearing at 7:13. Members of the commission.
I think what I'm hearing is we do need to approve this while waiving the temporary nature of the variance request. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
The request would then be to permit banner signs, just banner signs in general, in excess of 32 square feet and remove the condition of until the certificate of occupancy is issued. It would literally just be to permit temporary banner signs in excess of 32 square feet. But then I suppose, then the additional element would be just however you want to describe it, they're allowed in perpetuity. There is no timer on it because today banner signs are only permitted to 15 consecutive days per quarter.
Mhm.
So we would just be suggesting
Is
that we
this,
make that.
Well,
Is-
or we could put a time limit
Well, that
on
was
it.
my
So
request.
we review it, see what's happened over the 3 years, 4 years, whatever, and then decide if we want to make it permanent.
but is
Whoever
that
it's-
We could, but then
enforceable?
if the city in theory is in control of the content, then we would be forced to come back and submit a petition on it would be Old Town would have to submit the petition as the property owner, whomever's in receipt of the property at that time, but the applicant would be the city.
Mhm.
Because if we're in control of the content.
So like any other ordinance of this nature, we can approve that banners can go there, and it's up to the city council and the mayor to stipulate what the actual,
Content.
requirements are for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I think it's open-ended on who gets to make that decision, but also not our responsibility tonight, right? We're just approving the use, so. May I make a motion? Are we
Certainly.
comfortable? Wonderful. Make a motion to approve 2411 VS 29 with the recommended conditions from staff, as well as noting the removal of the temporary variance to allow in perpetuity.
And I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, please call the roll.
Dr. Keen,
Yes?
Mr. Buller,
Yes.
Mr. Clarino,
Yes,
Mr. Bunkefest.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Now I will entertain the motion to approve findings of fact.
You can do it.
I'll make a motion to approve findings of fact on,
2411.
what, yeah, 2411-VS-29.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Dr. Keen,
Yes?
Mr. Buller,
Yes.
Mr. Clarino.
Yes,
Mr. Bunkefest.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. We have no items continue to a future
Thank you.
meeting.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Enjoy that Chick-fil-A.
Plan Commission liaison. I was not at the last Plan Commission meeting, so Billy, you have.
Oh.
Let
you.
me get it pulled up just so I don't miss any of it. It was a Wednesday meeting, given the election.
Okay.
We heard 3 new public hearing items,
Okay.
one of which was a PUD alteration for the Cornerstone Bible Church. Another was a PUD amendment for the Westfield, Washington Schools transportation building off of Ditch Town, road's escaping me, but on that side of town, the Maple Knoll.
Downtown, yeah.
And then we heard for the first time Ambrose on Main planned unit development right here at East Street and 32. The first 2 were sent with recommendation to council. I believe both were approved yesterday evening unanimously. Ambrose on Main will be before us in the December workshop meeting, and that was quite the hot topic at public hearings.
Was it? Yeah, a lot of people showed up.
With vigorous voices, yes, sir. 3 other items.
Yeah, what were the main issues?
Just a slew of those that we can talk about later. But with that being said, 3 other items continued for further meetings, and that was the APC meeting.
Okay. Community development, anything, Dane?
Not at this time. If anyone wants some clarity for the comprehensive plan that's currently going through, I would watch last night's council meeting for Caleb Ernest's brief presentation, 5 to 7 minutes about what we've done so far, where it's going, and the timeline moving forward. So
And the punchline is we're still anticipation completion early Q2 of '26, correct?
I would think so. Yeah, I mean, that's the timeline for now. I think that's probably plus or minus a month in either direction, depending upon everything. But yeah, early, like January 2026, give or take.
That's why it should have been done 8 years ago.
What'd you say?
That's why it should have been done 8 years
Amen
ago.
to that.
Anyway, enough. I have a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second? Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
7:19. Thank you, IT. We be done.